Hello, my name is Lisa Gill, and my presentation is focused on Madre de Dios, Peru, and the environmental and health impacts of artisanal gold mining. So here are the table of contents for my presentation. We will talk about artisanal gold mining, what it is, the global anthropogenic mercury emissions, Peru's emissions, the impact on Peru's environment as well as regions all over the world, and the relationship between environmental and human exposure to mercury. Artisanal gold mining refers to mining activities that use rudimentary methods to extract and process minerals and metals within a community, as opposed to a large-scale industrial operation. Widely underreported, artisanal gold mining is one of the most significant sources of mercury releases into the global environment and in the developing world, with at least a quarter of the world's total gold supply coming from such sources. Artisanal and small-scale gold mining is a traditional livelihood in Peru, providing much-needed income for many impoverished communities. Currently, the prevailing method of ASGM in the country involves using large amounts of mercury to extract gold. These activities result in the release of tons of mercury each year, causing significant air, soil, and water contamination and severe health impacts on local communities. In Peru's Madre de Dios region, ASGM is increasing at a dramatic rate with increased global demand for gold. Madre de Dios and Puna, which neighbors to the south, produces nearly half of Peru's gold export and hosts nearly 80% of illegal gold export. So where is the mercury coming from? Figure 1 shows the global mercury emissions that are estimated and from the year 2010. Each year, humans mobilize around 2,000 tons of mercury, with about 90% emitted to the air and 10% released to land and water. Currently, almost 40% of mercury emissions come from East and Southeast Asia. And since we are talking about Peru, which is in South America, we see that the emissions from South America are about 10 to 15%. In other countries, national mercury emissions have only been recently quantified for the first time. Since 2005 and the start of the UNEP negotiating process in 2010, many countries have initiated work on national emission inventories, which in several cases have yielded much improved information on activity data, sector characteristics, and mercury emissions. Figure 2 shows two pie charts comparing the global anthropogenic mercury emissions to Peru's anthropogenic mercury emissions. The use of mercury to extract gold has caused artisanal gold mining to become the largest anthropogenic emitter of mercury worldwide. A breakdown of Peru's mercury emissions by sector shows that artisanal gold mining accounts for over 60% of emissions in Peru, and globally it is about 37%. Second in line globally is fossil fuel combustion, and in Peru it is non-ferrous metals. Table 1 presented here looks at the regions most impacted by mercury pollution from artisanal gold mining. Over 1.5 million people are affected by mercury pollution from mining and ore processing, with most pollution problems of this nature occurring in Southeast Asia and Africa. And by looking at the table, you can see that Africa has definitely double the number of sites as Southeast Asia. And since Peru is in South America, we see that the number of sites there is 19 and that almost 200,000 people are being affected. Figure 3 shows a trend between gold deforestation and mercury imports in Peru. Over the last decade, Peru's fast-growing economy was fueled by high prices in the mining, oil, and gas sectors. As gas prices climbed, illegal gold mining expanded into Madre de Dios. Over 60,000 hectares of land has been destroyed, and the health of communities living in the region is endangered due to the unregulated use of mercury. The recent mining is also converting primary forests at a nonlinear rate alongside increasing gold prices. And 50% of the population is associated with this mining sector, leaving large areas with degraded landscapes. Furthermore, the explosive growth of illegal mining is also linked with criminal activities including transnational organized crime, child labor, human trafficking, and land grabbing. And from looking at this chart, you can see that as the gold prices increase, so has mercury imports, which has led to increases in land degradation due to mining. Table 2 shows a summary of hair mercury distribution by sex, age, and community in Peru. The total hair mercury was elevated in Madre de Dios with a geometric mean of about 2.6 for both males and females, with all communities having individuals who exceeded US EPA and World Health Organization exposure limits. Adults had higher mercury levels in their hair compared to children, and mercury levels did not differ by sex for adults nor for children. Mid-river communities, such as those near active mining areas, had significantly higher hair mercury levels compared to upstream and downstream communities. Communities in active mining areas and downstream had the highest prevalence of individuals exceeding the exposure level of 2.0, which is set by the World Health Organization. To summarize, according to the United Nations Industrial Developmental Organization, also known as UNIDO, as much as 95% of all mercury used in artisanal gold mining is released into the environment. Once mercury pollution reaches waterways, it is transformed into methylmercury, one of the most toxic organic compounds and a powerful neurotoxin. Due to its large health risk, international negotiations are ongoing to globally ban the use of mercury in the years to come. And as part of the international negotiations, the Minamata Convention, which is a broad document that concerns itself with many aspects of the problem of mercury in the global environment, was created. And the Minamata Convention calls for nations to gather health data, train healthcare workers, and raise awareness in regard to artisanal gold mining activity. The Minamata Convention seeks to protect human health and environment from anthropogenic releases of mercury using the best available techniques. And I would like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to my presentation, and have a nice day.